Maximum News is a political satire podcast. The views expressed by the hosts or guests do not necessarily represent the views of the network or our sponsors. Also, it's very hard to talk about people like Ted Cruz without saying lots and lots of swear words. So maybe don't listen with the small little children persons. Welcome back to Maximum News, everybody. I am your host, Michael Zampino.
I'm TJ Clark.
And it's been a couple weeks since we've been with you, so welcome back.
Yeah, that's right. Time's weird.
It's been a couple of weeks, so that means that there's been time for about 14, 15 mass shootings.
Yeah.
I believe that we had close to a dozen over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. We had one down in Texas.
Oh, God. Yeah, that one was
that
real
is
bad.
absolutely horrific. And the governor of Texas chose to respond by tweeting about the victim's immigration status. Which could not matter less when you're talking about people who were murdered for asking their neighbor to stop firing his AR-15 in his backyard because it was keeping their children awake. And this man chose to murder an entire family, basically.
Yeah. I did hear, it's nice to hear some people, it's always, of course, nice to hear, like, officials speaking out. And I think I heard the sheriff of the county, say, I don't care.
The sheriff,
where these people
he came
gonna
straight up and was
them.
like, their immigration status doesn't mean fuck.
So it's like good to hear people are like speaking out in opposite of the governor.
He essentially was like, the bottom line is, 5 people were murdered in my county. 5 people in my county under my watch died.
When you're a sheriff, that's not good.
Totally. And so that motherfucker, I believe, as of now, is still on the run.
I think they have a reward.
There's a manhunt. I believe it was around $80,000 or something.
I think he's trying to contact friends to help him hide, which good fucking luck, dude.
Yeah, I hope.
And if he has any friends helping him, that's one. Helping your buds is good, but fucking
don't harbor a fucking family mass the
details. I don't even I've only heard a little bit.
The 2 kids that survived because of a human shield.
Yeah,
and that is super fucked up.
Yeah. And I think the one kid that did die died because he got involved. He tried to help his mom, is what I heard.
I didn't hear that part, but they said that basically everybody was shot execution style in the head with an AR-15 because he asked him to stop shooting in his backyard.
Yeah.
You had an article pulled up about the increase in mass shootings from stemming essentially from what we see as the increase in the peddling of fear. And there's a direct correlation.
The Washington Post, it was originally published on April 30th, and the headline just says, "Why are Americans shooting strangers and neighbors?" And they kind of answer it. In their headline, it says it all goes back to fear. And they have a good breakdown. They say, I'm just going to read this quote because it kind of sums it up really well. Experts blame a cocktail of factors. This is the first one, the easy availability of guns. The second one is misconceptions around stand your ground laws. And the third one, the marketing of firearms for self-defense. And then along with all of this, a growing sense among Americans, particularly Republicans, that safety in their backyard is deteriorating. And then they do an amazing job breaking down the data of belief of who believes their neighborhoods are more dangerous, and then they have the data of actually is it more dangerous? right, compared to previous years. And of course, you've probably heard in other news, like it is
with
not
tangible crime statistics.
Yeah, actual data. It's actually safer. And you can always break down numbers to show yes, there was more homicides this year than like in certain cities and others.
Sure.
But like data can be manipulated. But the fact is like in the general sense, data wise, crime is down. But this is a great one. A great one, as in like it's shocking.
Right.
Since 2020, right? Just 3 years ago.
a mere three, a blink of an eye.
Since 2020, the share of Republicans who said that crime is rising in their community has jumped from 38% to 73%. That's according to a Gallup poll.
That means 73% of Republicans are now going around talking about how crime in their community has jumped.
Yeah, that's a jump of math is hard, but like a lot, like 35%.
Yeah, 35.
Yeah. And but then it says among Democrats, the same concern climbed, but only by 5 percentage points to 42%. That's the marking the widest partisan perception gap since the polling firm first asked the question half a century ago. That's been a lot. Like Republicans are way scarier than Democrats.
Yeah,
and that's why.
And they've been sold this fear purposefully because fear sells guns, and guns make money.
And if you like charts and graphs, the Post has a nice graph here. And if you look, in 2020, there's a giant spike up, and we can all picture how the world was then. But like, was fear? Fear, of course, is used by lots of people. It's used by the media. We work in the media. I work in the media, and in the media, I wouldn't say we never intentionally do it, but like the sad thing is that fear does get people's attention, right? People want to know about the shootings. They want to know crime statistics. Like people crave it, and the news likes to give audiences what they think they want. And I've got like personal opinions about this, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, and this graph goes back to before 75, it looks like, maybe back to 70. And the one thing that I noticed that jumped out to me is that the highest point for either party at any point going back that far was below 60%, maybe below 58 even.
Yeah.
Might have been the very highest. And so, the fact that you've now got a jump up to 73% from one party.
Look at this right here. This year is this when Reagan, where like Republicans are more comfortable than Democrats. I think that was.
Oh yeah,
Reagan.
the Reagan years. Yeah, the 80 to 88.
Yeah.
Jesus. Boy, he really had them fooled, didn't he?
This is a fascinating chart to look at and to look at the years and the spikes and stuff. But like what happened in 2020 is definitely the anomaly. Like it just jumps. Like the fear has just multiplied.
Right. And the fact that the first Stand Your Ground law was passed in 2005, and in less than 20 years, you have basically every Republican state in the country now with its own version of a Stand Your Ground law, including Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They all started following the blueprint.
Mm-hmm. And Washington Post, again, has really great data on states with Stand Your Ground law. Here's one that I found interesting. A Post analysis, meanwhile, found that states with Stand Your Ground laws had a 55% higher homicide by firearm rate in the past 2 years than states that didn't have these laws, because it removes the duty to retreat from the attacker. Like, now people just kill.
Yeah, and in certain instances, it covers you if you are chasing them.
You know what happens when you run from them? You have a chance to like have a conversation.
Yeah,
I mean, like, which I know is like if a real intruder is like one thing, but like,
sure,
in these many instances where like I don't know, a cheerleader like opens someone's car door. Because that was one that happened recently. Like some cheerleaders opened the wrong car door, and this fucking white man, I'm pretty sure, shot them. Like, and if he maybe would have just been like, "Hey, who the fuck are you?"
Right?
Like,
no,
maybe
you don't have
ran
to
out
talk.
of his own car. Anything,
you don't have to
just
talk.
like
You
bolt.
just shoot because the law says you can because you're scared.
But just a second. How long does
you
it
have
take
to do is
be
say you're
like,
scared.
Yeah, and really, if just a second hesitation, those people probably would have like ran.
I'm sorry, wrong car. Yeah, I fucked up. My bad.
But no,
fire,
baby.
And the fact
they
that
feel like the law backs them. They feel emboldened to just
because
pull
it
the
does.
trigger.
And because, like I was saying, the way the stand your ground laws are worded, you can in many times pursue that person, meaning that you're following that person that was, quote, perceived as a threat and still shoot them and still be covered under stand your ground laws.
It's going to be...
That's really fucked up.
Another recent one I think that we'll see play out in the court is the old man who shot the kid.
Yeah.
Opened his, or like ran to his door.
The kid that came to his door, the wrong house, trying to pick up his brothers.
Yeah. Looking for his
And he was
brother.
shot twice.
Yeah.
And then...
Because that one, that guy's claiming stand your ground, but like a good, from what I understand, like everyone is like, no, dude, you fucked up.
But and they were trying to say that like, oh, the neighbors like came to his defense or whatever.
Oh,
but
that's right. Yeah, they treated him like a criminal.
They made him lay down and put his hands up.
Yeah,
he'd been shot. So obviously we don't really know 100% either way whether that's true or false yet. But the eyewitness recounts, seem to differ from some of the accounts saying that the neighbor was like a fucking savior.
Yeah. This is just a side tangent, if I may, because
sure.
I'm high and also I thought of something while we were talking.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So yes, of course.
No,
we're joking. We're just telling jokes. Yeah, I got my card. I can show you my card right now. I've had a rough fucking medical week. I need this medicine. Anyway.
Exactly.
I got my cable was out this week, and I found out through my cable guy he was out getting
cable guy.
Yeah, and he came back in, and I guess like
there's like a reference.
Oh yeah, I got it.
I'm nothing if not current.
I love that the quotes are still floating around.
Yeah, right.
It's like sometimes the quotes last much longer than the movie. Like,
absolutely.
Where people are saying the quotes who never even seen.
They don't know the movie. Yeah. They don't know what it's from.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess there's a camaraderie amongst like people like that, like out there, like service trucks and stuff. Anyway, there's a Walmart delivery person out there, and he starts chatting with the Walmart delivery person, and the Walmart delivery person tells them, I guess this is something new. All Walmart delivery drivers either now have or soon will have body cams.
What?
So like, because like and I said I told the guy I'm surprised that Amazon isn't there yet because Amazon like fucking monitors their people like crazy.
Yeah.
But like I started thinking about it, and like I feel like a little mixed about it because like he told this incident of like the Walmart driver liked it because they just had a weird incident with some like undercover police officers, and like there was like a weird like I don't know if they like pulled a gun on them or what, but they like identified themselves as police officers and stuff. But like you know what I mean? Like if that would have come up later, like
sure.
if someone would have like said that she didn't do something, like she has like a footage that like shows.
Yeah.
Like,
this is like this.
But like I think a cool side effect of that is going to be we have like all these fucking delivery drivers. Everyone's getting shit delivered in neighborhoods all the time. Like it's only a matter. It's like you have people doing shitty things have got to know like there's cameras everywhere.
It's gonna yeah.
And like you can lie, you can say you did shit, but like and you can say you were defending yourself, but like pretty soon there's going to be a camera in every fucking direction, one way or the other, like, and that's comforting. Like, there's not much comfort to find in a lot of this.
Honestly,
but the fact that, like, I feel like I used to not like the idea of cameras in public.
Same. Now, the more I think about it,
the more and more racist that get caught and shit.
Well, and the more I rationalize it, the more I realize, like, okay, what is any reason I have for not wanting my social interactions in public to be caught on camera?
Yeah.
And I have none. I'm like, the more I think about it, I'm like, I don't want one in my bedroom and I don't want one in my bathroom. But other than that, I'm pretty chill with a camera being wherever.
Yeah.
Especially if it means that if something bad happens to me or my family, that there's way more chance of that person being caught.
Yeah.
I really don't know what I have to hide, or what sort of, I guess, fallacy of privacy that I have about, that's the thing that I think people are forgetting is this, people assume that you have so much right to privacy while out in public when in reality that's not the case at all. Like once you walk outside your house and your property, whatever you do is free reign to be, like I said, unless you're in a bathroom,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Here's a couple things I thought of.
Go ahead.
I agree with you, but also feel like I should like check my white privilege. Like I have no reason for like cops to just be like looking at me on cameras. But like I do worry and know that like if I was a brown person, like that like but the cameras, of course, like disproportionately disfavor, except for like when they catch.
Well, yeah,
racists.
the facial recognition. There's
a lot of elements
shit.
of it. And
Sure. But just the idea of the presence of cameras doesn't bother me, is what I mean. And that's probably a lot. That probably is some privilege.
I think there still needs to be some very strict laws about how they're used, like the police with the flock camera system and all that stuff. Like,
true.
I think there's got to be very strict laws about like what can be used and what can't be used. Like,
see, and that's the beauty of the American system.
Yeah.
Is that we have a system in place if we choose to use it appropriately, where you could regulate such things.
Yeah.
You could put regulations in place.
Basically, it comes down like I like the cameras, but I don't want cops in charge of them. Like
yes, absolutely. No. I want cameras, but if whoever's in charge of it has to be a panel of unbiased people from different backgrounds, and you know what I mean. Like, there can be a cop on there, but there also has to be. Like
like a social
social worker,
like a homeless, like a unhoused advocate, and like things like that.
A former addict.
And they're like this like watchman board, right?
Yeah,
like
you need the former addict, so you can be like that guy. He can be like, that guy's just trying to get one out. Like, just let him boot up. He's fine.
Let him boot up.
Isn't that what the kids call it nowadays?
Yeah, boot up. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say like just as like if even just like give it to the firemen, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Like
I definitely trust firemen way more than I trust cops.
More, yeah, and I know there's some issues there too, but like just just give it to the firemen.
Yeah,
firefighters. Don't mean to gender.
Thank you.
Don't mean to gender
fire persons.
Yeah, fire persons.
Fire murderers.
Fire magicians. Fire whisperers.
Fire killer.
Maybe some like cool
Ooh,
name.
yeah. I want to be a fire killer.
Fire warrior.
Going out there and kill that fire.
Yeah.
Anyway, shit's scary and everybody's shooting everybody.
But I think that, man, like stand your ground laws, like
the fucking worst. One of the worst things ever happened.
Yeah, I don't. They seem to be going in the wrong direction. Like I think they're still happening like more and more than like dialing back. I don't know anyone's dialing back their stand your ground laws, but it's going to be curious to see as more and more children are murdered. Though again, like every time I think that like children being murdered are going to solve it, you remember Sandy Hook.
Well, what they did is they sold stand your ground under the guise of the idea that self-defense didn't already exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's already laws in place that say if there is provable self-defense, you're not going to go away for murder if, you were actually defending yourself.
Yeah.
What they sold people is you're never going to be able to prove that, and you need this law to make sure that you can protect yourself and your family. And that's always the thing. Protect yourself, your family, and your belongings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your fucking Corvette and your fucking, you're
scared.
Your fucking Wade Boggs autographed baseball glove. And your fucking, whatever the fuck else, your Nazi memorabilia, if you're Harlan Crow.
This guy, sorry, I just read this. I'm all over the place. Zampino, I'm sorry.
I forgive.
But you said, Ron, we're talking fear, paranoia, and misunderstandings. This is again from the Washington Post. Yeah. Misunderstandings of the laws governing self-defense and use of force is a recipe for tragedy, said Jeffrey S. Korn, chairman of criminal law at Texas Tech. Anyway, here's a quote I wanted to get to. We don't demand any education for people who own firearms, he said. I was a soldier, and we couldn't touch a live round without completing weeks of basic training. But your uncle in Bixby can... Yeah.
With permit, no permit, just pick it up, buy it, doesn't matter. Yeah. Go to Walmart, get it right now.
That's what I don't understand. It's like, no one's trying to take your guns, but why the like untethered Just like
that is proof alone that the reasoning is nothing more than we got to keep this money coming in. We got to keep the money coming in because if they keep selling guns, they keep giving us money, they keep funding us. You know, it all comes down to money, because guns are big money. There's a lot of fucking money, and they have money to spend. And every state has multiple gun lobbies. You have your NRA, you have all sorts of different gun groups.
And it's a huge, like, it takes people to the polls, right? Like, it brings out
it. Especially in places like here. Like, I'll never forget, I remember I did a comedy show, right around the time that we were about to vote for medicinal marijuana.
Yeah.
And I did a set, and I was talking about marijuana in my set. And afterwards, I was chatting with a group of people outside that were at the show. And they were talking about, you know, we liked your set and blah, blah, blah. And they were talking about the good times, you know, in high school when we used to smoke weed every now and again. It was wild. And, you know, one of the guys was like, you know, I really don't have a problem with it. It's just, you know, the fact that if I get a medical marijuana card, I can't have a gun. And I was like, God damn it, here we go. And I was like, listen, I got to tell you that is not true. And that is a misinformation campaign that is being put forth by the anti-marijuana because they know that if anybody thinks they might not be able to get a gun, they're far more likely to vote no. Yeah. And they use that shit. They use the fact that people are so fucking terrified of having their little toys taken away. Yeah. Because here's my thing. At the end of the day, like, your reasoning for wanting is because you want your cool fucking toy. That's why you don't want the laws, is because you don't want it to be harder for you to get your cool fucking toy. And fuck you for that. Pardon me for being so just in your face rude that way. But if your whole thing is like, I have all the rights in the world to have my dumb toy, no, we go back to the fucking lawn dart argument. Okay. Yeah. Your toy keeps killing people, so you don't get to have your toy anymore.
Exactly. You know, like the weed and gun thing brought up, I've seen that on my own. I don't want to like call them out directly because they're weird, but there's someone in my family who, I know they love weed. They have smoked weed for their entire life. Right. Well, not entire life, but, you know, since they were a teenager. I know there was a period that they stopped because of their profession. And when it became legal, they wanted to do it so fucking bad, dude. They were like, and like everyone in our family who was an adult got a card, you know, except for this person. And they held out for so long. And then, because they believed it. They thought they couldn't. They were worried about their, like, losing their gun, which, like,
that was never in the law.
You don't even need a license to carry a gun anymore anyway, right? So I don't know what they were like, what's like the confusion. But
it was never in the law.
No, it wasn't. But like this, and then I think once this person like realized that, I don't know what they did to release that fear. But then they got their license, and man, they throw down. They used to buy gun parts and like gun stuff.
Now they buy bong parts.
Like, I don't know what they get all the time. I used to like keep pretty aware of what came in the mail there. But nowadays I know that they spend money on weed, and I don't think they get many guns.
See,
so I'm like,
yeah, man, drop bongs, not bombs.
But I think right now, what if right now they're like, what if we like get them all hooked? And what if we did make, okay, now you're sorry, you guys do have to choose between weed and guns.
I mean, that would be a super easy choice for me.
I know. Like, I think maybe now someone will be like, you know what? Fuck these guns. I'm just going to get
honestly, with having lived in this state my entire life, they'd still choose the guns.
Absolutely. They would choose the guns.
They would rather choose them over their children already.
They would choose the guns and still smoke weed.
I have had motherfuckers literally say, not to my face, but on the internet, in a conversation, tell me, because I've said things like, what would it take? Who would you have to lose personally for your mind to change about gun laws? If you lost your mother, daughter, child, would it matter? And they say no.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I would hope that the situation would be different if it was actually real and not a hypothetical. But the fact that even in a hypothetical that I could just try and wrap my mind around saying, like, you know what, if someone killed my mom in a mass shooting, or someone killed my daughter in a mass shooting, or someone killed my wife in a mass shooting, I would be okay with it because that's just the price of American freedom.
Yeah.
Fuck directly off forever.
Yeah. And the hypocrisy that drives me nuts is these same people also consider themselves pro-life.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And it's like I wish we could just like rebrand guns.
Only when it's a fetus.
Let's call guns late-term abortion doctors. And maybe if like we just everyone start calling guns late-term abortionists, doctors,
yeah.
Then be like, ooh, you fucking abortion, like, yeah, gun owners are like, oh, you support abortion? You got that abortion doctor.
Just start saying, oh, so you support late-term abortion?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, that's just a very late-term abortion,
very
really?
Late-term, yeah.
Wow. That's fucking wild. Yeah, no, they really only seem to care about a child in a window of about 8 months.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the?
I don't want to. Let me look it up. If you want to rant about.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I know which one you're talking about. Where it's like they care about kids until you're born, then go fuck yourself or you're on your own. Is essentially the gist of it, because I definitely remember which quote you're talking about.
Yeah. But it's true. And like what's crazy is that Carlin was saying that shit in the 80s, 90s.
Right. Oh, I remember.
It's still fucking true. More so probably.
It was definitely in the early 90s, I believe that special was that we're talking about. 30 years later, and it's still just the entire his entire thing about the pro-life crowd is just as true now as it was 30 years ago.
All right, here you go. This is a quote from Carlin. Pro-life conservatives are obsessed with the fetus from conception to 9 months.
Yeah.
After that, they don't want to know about you. They don't want to hear about you. No. It wants me to pay to read the rest.
Fuck you.
Oh, there we go. I got to go away. After that, they don't want to know about you. They don't want to hear from you. No, nothing. No neonatal care, no daycare, no Head Start, no school lunch, no food stamps, no welfare, no nothing. If you're preborn, you're fine. If you're preschool, you're fucked.
So
and that is still fucking
amazing.
True. Like we might support pre-K. I think Oklahoma actually has like pretty good support for pre-K. But like if you're not a trans kid.
Well, and I mean, I don't know, man. Like I still feel like I see a lot of people struggling for daycare.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, my favorite thing about Carlin was that Carlin was really into language.
Yeah.
And
that's all it is.
The power of words.
Yeah.
And
that's why these people are scared, because they heard the right words.
Yeah. He had the best way of both showing both the power and the for lack of a better word, how arbitrary words can also be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
He could talk about the absurdity of words and their usage and like euphemisms and talking about stuff like that.
George Carlin would fucking love woke. He would be ripping apart people who use woke as like a, just both sides of it probably. Because, he didn't like leave it, like he was definitely harder on conservatives, but like I think that like he would have a lot of fun with some of the words that are being
that like
used
and I don't, man, I almost feel like we've gotten to the point now where like nobody on the left uses the word woke anymore, because we're like, listen, DeSantis is just, it comes out of his mouth way too much for us to ever say it again.
I read a good argument.
Be ironic.
I don't even know to begin where to look it up, but I did read an argument for like how we should reclaim it, because it's like not a bad thing, right?
No,
it's about like opening your eyes to injustices in the world. That's all it is.
Horrible. How dare you?
Exactly.
Fucking hippie.
The thing that I thought all Christians were about, maybe at one point
on paper
back in the day, cheesy ones.
Only on paper.
Yeah.
Only on the really thin paper that you can smoke joints with. I wonder how toxic the ink is in Bible paper. Because I may or may not have smoked a lot of pages out of the Bible.
I know plenty of people who have, and I don't think it's too toxic.
Did you ever do it?
I never did, no.
Oh, yeah. I've done it a few times. Usually we would pick out Psalm 104
Oh yeah,
which is the one that the Rastafarians use to justify smoking weed, because it says I'm not going to get the quote exactly right, but it's something along the lines of "He causeth the grass to grow for the cattle and herb for the service of man," which they say, well, herb is for the service of man, for man to see however it serves him, for us to use however we see fit.
Yeah,
because I was that stoner idiot.
I saw a bumper sticker, 2 bumper stickers. One was a Bible verse, right? And the other one, upon first sight, looked like a normal Biden. I was in Broken Arrow, by the way, if I didn't already say that. And it looked like a normal Biden, but then like the E was red, and then when you look closer, the E was like bloody fingertips.
What?
And then when you looked up the Bible quote, it was basically talking about assassinating leaders.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was like some Bible quote about like replacing, like killing your leaders if you need to, like blah blah blah.
Yikes!
Yeah, it was terrifying.
Did you see the super creepy Jan Sixer lady that Trump was photographed with at his? So
I saw
the lady
a brief tweet about it.
She's wearing like a Captain America uniform.
Did he like hug her or something?
First she wanted him to sign a backpack, so he signed the backpack. Somebody's like, she's a J6er. Like she went to jail.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she was up
That's
on
like street cred to them now.
Yeah. She was like up on the scaffolding and shit, like with a QAnon flag. So first she gets the autograph, and then he like makes security like actually let her come over to him and like take a picture, and he's like, "You've had it so." He signs something for her, right? And then he goes, "Here, take this pen. You've had it so rough." Like the pen is like, "Here, this pen is really going to make up for your hardships." Yeah.
It's like the
but
Pope
anyway,
kissing them on the head or something.
This lady was interviewed towards the end of 2022 at a rally. At which she was asked about Jan 6, and she was talking about the true insurrectionists who were the people in Congress who voted to certify the election of Joe Biden, and that they deserved to be executed because the Constitution of the United States calls for the execution of traitors. And these people are traitors, and so they should be executed. And then the interviewer said, "Do you think that's something that you really see happening?" And before he got the G of happening out, she was, yes.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
They want it. Yeah. They want like public assassinations and shit, like firing range. They want all that stuff.
What the fuck is happening?
We didn't talk about this, but like I can speak a little bit from the head. Like I don't know what made me think of this. Sorry, I am all over the place. But like Stitt turned down the Glossop this week. Like, have you followed the Glossop?
The Richard Glossop case.
Yeah, the next death row inmate who is scheduled to be executed in Oklahoma. It's happening sometime in May, which is now this month. And the district attorney,
it's scheduled for this May.
This May, from what I understand.
Execution. Fuck.
Maybe I'm wrong. I should look that up.
No, it's okay. I understand.
But I keep hearing May and May whatever. I don't hear a year when I hear that, so I assume it means this year. But yeah, like so, bipartisan support.
Everybody
like
says
senators
he's
from both sides. The fucking district attorney of the state getting her drumming.
The prosecutor,
yeah, and this guy, like religious leaders in town, like everyone is saying this guy, he should be off death row. He should have a whole new trial. He should be exonerated. Like people have different views of exactly what should happen, but everyone agrees he should not be on death row.
Right.
He should not be dying.
I was going to say, okay, so the overall consensus is that he definitely needs a trial, but a lot of people think he's actually innocent.
The overall consensus is that like he definitely needs a trial because evidence was hidden and destroyed and kept from people, right? Like the guy who... Well, and the main thing, like the thing is, other people think he should be let go completely because the guy who testified that Glossop hired him later in like private letters, like recanted that statement.
Right.
Like so
that
alone
they don't gets you a new trial.
Yeah. But like they won't get one, and then because they were like Stitt was like, oh, we need to do it by the law, so the Pardon and Parole Board decides, which I believe, I don't know for sure, but maybe the governor stacks that. I'm not sure exactly what the Pardon and Parole Board is made up of. I know it has some like XDAs, I think, from district.
Yeah, but who appoints them? That's a good question.
Yeah, but the point is that I they had to win a majority, but one of them had to recuse himself because his wife was a trial in one of Glossip's trials. I don't know which side she was on, but like he had to recuse himself. So anyway, they were fucked with numbers basically, and they lost. So basically, the Pardon Parole Board was like, yeah, and even though they like there was in so many language, they said like, yeah, maybe he should be let go, but like the family's here and they're crying and we feel uncomfortable, so we're gonna vote to keep him in.
God damn it!
So now it's up to the Supreme Court, which those guys love life. So
wow,
yeah. So we'll see what happens. I think that's the next step is the Supreme Court,
the state or the state Supreme Court.
That's a good question.
Right?
I just keep hearing Supreme Court.
I'm going to assume it's the state Supreme Court,
probably
at this point. But I got.
But Stitt has said he will not. Like he was like, I will not. Like whatever powers he has. He's
well,
not
hopefully the state Supreme Court has the power to override him, and hopefully the state Supreme Court is less corrupt than the national Supreme Court.
To be completely honest, I feel like I think he's banking on someone stopping it. I think he's too chicken shit to stop it himself.
Yeah, no. It's all about he can't buckle to the base.
He's got a political future to look forward to, right? He can't be soft.
Everything he does is theater.
Yeah.
Everything Stitt does is fucking political theater. It's bullshit. He is. We need to talk about the fact that he's now put himself in quite a conundrum because he's so often making these hard promises to his base that I will be the worst piece of shit you've ever met in your life, and I will make life for liberals hell. So he promised months ago. Yeah. Months ago, he signed the law, the bathroom bill, basically. I believe was the one. I think that's the one that he signed. He signed a bill that it was an anti-trans bill, and at that point, he promised to sign all future bills that would ban gender-affirming care. Mm-hmm. So he made a promise to sign any bill brought to him banning gender-affirming care.
He made the same kind of promise for abortion too, like any abortion bill he signed.
But he also just said that he would continue to veto any and all bills brought by senators until they give him the tax cuts and dismantling of public education that he wants under the guise of, quote, parental choice, which is a fucking huge dog whistle, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening and you don't really understand what that means, it is a dog whistle that is disguised to make you think that it's a good thing for you and your children, when in reality, it is the dismantling of public education and the funneling of all funding to exclusive private schools.
Religious schools.
Yes, private religious schools that can only be accessed by a select few.
Yeah, because they don't give you enough to cover your full tuition.
Yes.
Not even
so close. He just vetoed the OETA bill because it quote sexualized children. Yeah. OETA does OETA.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers.
OETA.
Home of Mr. Rogers and Sesame
Did you hear? Yes. Yes. Elmo sexualizing them kids. I mean.
Yeah, and then he says it because they happen to show support of gay characters and trans kids.
Meanwhile, he's getting photographed with almost nude cheerleaders with a shit-eating grin on his face, and I couldn't be fucking happier with all the kids present and no issues there. No toddlers and tiaras, no fucking problem, no problem. This motherfucker. So I'm interested to see because now SB 613, which corrections. I think at one point in the show I might have mistakenly called it 813, but it's SB 613 that is the banning of gender affirming care that has come through the Senate.
Yeah.
And it was just passed by the Senate, which the Senate right now is a what did we say? A whopping 40-8. Republican. So it didn't stand a fucking chance.
Yeah.
Which shout out to one of my very first comedy friends outside of Tulsa, Spencer Hicks.
Yeah.
His wife, Carrie Hicks, who's now a state senator, was a very vocal opponent. And I very much appreciate her fighting for families like mine.
Yeah.
Even though she, might not directly know that she is fighting for my family.
Yeah. No, it is great hearing any supportive voice.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, the 8 Democratic senators, of course, voted against it. So now it's off to Stitt's desk, where he has to now make one of the 2 things he said a lie.
Yeah.
So he's either going to have to back down on the trans bill and veto it, which I fucking hope so, because that at least gives us a bit of a stay of execution until the next House bill comes, because he didn't vow to veto House bills. He's just mad at the senators.
Yeah.
Fucking child. I mean, honestly, like, could you fucking imagine a Democratic governor pulling some shit like this?
No.
And Republicans not losing their goddamn minds?
No, they would fucking,
They'd burn the fucking house down.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is childish bullshit. He's literally saying, I'm going to fuck every bill that comes through, whether it helps or hurts the people of the state.
Yeah.
It won't matter. He's
Until
basically,
you give my buddies
he
money.
is saying, I don't care about the validity of any bill coming from these senators.
Absolutely.
I just want the things I want, and I won't give you anything until you give it to me. Wham, wham, wham.
Exactly.
What a fucking baby.
Yeah. And I do love that the Republicans, even because they're the Republicans again, they fucking run it, and they're still like, no, dude, you can't bully us.
At least now, some of the Republicans are like,
they vetoed, or did they already veto, or they're threatening to veto his OET because he signed.
No, they're going to hold up his appointees.
Oh yeah, that was a big one.
They're saying that, okay, well, you need people appointed to these seats, and they have to have Senate approval, and we're basically going to tell you to straight fuck yourself, and none of those people can have the jobs you want them to have. None of your little fucking cronies can get into their positions.
Yeah, but they all. I remember now. There is a little bit of juggling with the OETA thing too, because I think they passed a bill to fund it, and then he vetoed it, and it's currently vetoed. He vetoed the funding for OETA, but they're vowing to have enough votes to undo his veto for the OETA funding. They haven't done that yet, but they're saying they have enough votes to do it.
I see.
So, I mean, it'll probably end up used as like a bargaining chip or some bullshit like that. But
to be honest, I would be really surprised if the Republicans did that to fund OETA. And to be honest, it would be props where props are due. It would be like,
I was once told by friends at OETA, because TV business, and I've got good friends right there. Apparently, because they've been threatening to cut OETA funding since
forever.
Mary Fallon.
Yeah.
Probably longer than that. Like
I feel like I remember hearing this for a lot of years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Republicans, especially Republicans governors, just want to get rid of it. But the state senators and the state representatives, it's some of the only TV time they get. Like the local stations, don't always cover them, but OETA, because they don't do crime news and shit, they just do government stuff.
Right.
OETA covers them, and these guys, they want to be on the air. They want to feel like they're. And I'm not making fun of them. Like it's good. Like we should have a view of our representatives. We should be able to turn on OTA and see what the fuck they're voting on, and watch. Like, I don't know if OTA is doing like live streaming. I don't know who controls
C-SPAN,
right? Yeah, I think so. But anyway, I would love, if that was available, if we could actually see these see them in action and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I think that's why they often support it when governors want to get rid of it.
Wasn't Eureka's Castle a OETA joint? Or is that Disney?
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm trying to think of all the kids shows that were OETA. Man, I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm surprised, because it is, sort of just a public education thing where that most Republicans are like, no, we can't just have education out there readily available for people.
You know who is going to be on OETA? I think this week. I think it already aired, maybe yesterday. Peter Bedgood.
What?
Yeah, OETA has a show where they feature artists, and Peter is the artist this week.
Oh, doing his human beings.
I saw him recently, and he told me about the interview, and apparently it's a good time. he had fun with them, and they
okay.
had
Well,
fun
now
with
I
him.
support cutting their funding.
Yeah.
Only comics would understand why that is just a thing that you can say to a friend, another comic friend.
Absolutely. But OETA is the shit, dude. OETA's got some great ass programming.
Yes.
And to be completely honest, they don't get very political. Like, I'm sorry that they showed a supportive parent saying that they love their trans kid. And they had like
honestly,
gay characters on Sesame Street. Like,
it's just
that's what they're mad about.
Yeah, it's just anything they can find that even remotely plays to that base of homophobic, transphobic, just terrified. Not even
so fucking villainous. Dude.
I don't even know if every single one of these people is hateful so much as they're just so terrified of things that are different.
Yeah, well, it goes back, and I think that the article about fear like mentions it. It's just like people are afraid of what they don't know still, and like Republicans lean into that so much.
I hate to use this type of wording, but I can't think of another way to describe it. But I feel like a lot of these people vote the way they do because they just think it's icky. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, trans people, it's just icky to them.
Yeah.
And they can't get past that. And they're not willing to listen enough to get to realize that, like, you know what? That doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that you feel weird about it means fuck all.
That's on you.
Yeah, that's you. The only person who controls the way they feel about it is you.
Yeah.
Because guess what? When you go home, before you knew about it, it didn't affect your life. Exactly. And when you leave, your life's going to be exactly the fucking same. Exactly the same. If tomorrow you can't wake up and fucking take a shit and, pull up OAN or whatever the fuck you do the first thing in the morning and have your coffee, like, until it's literally changing your daily life, what the fuck do you care?
That's what, like, I will almost not
There's lots of shit out there that I think is super weird, and I wish people didn't do it.
Exactly. Like, I'll defend a person's right to hate something. Like, there's like things I hate, right? And I don't want a person who hates me. Like, I don't want to talk to someone who hates me, right?
Yeah.
And like, so I'm almost like, if these people like want to have their shitty beliefs in their privacy, that's like a whole different discussion. What I don't understand is why they want to fuck over people they never see.
Yes.
That they, like you were saying, like most of these people who are like supportive of these like anti-trans bills don't know a single trans person. It's not like there's just a wave of trans people at everyone's jobs.
Or if they do, they wouldn't know it because that person is way too terrified to be out around them.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Or they think they don't know anybody, but in reality, they know their kid's friend who's trans and they don't realize it, or they, whatever.
Yeah.
Or they, it's.
I just don't get that. I don't get like just wanting to control people who you like.
Yeah. Listen, I think laugh track sitcoms should be outlawed, but I'm not going to actually go write the bill because it's not fair to everybody else. No, I don't genuinely believe that, but I don't like them, but I'm not going to go out and be like, you can't have them anymore. Like, the idea of that is just insane to me. You know what I mean? Like, because when someone else in the privacy of their own home laughs at the bad jokes on Friends, it doesn't affect my daily life.
Exactly.
That show's bad though.
Yeah, it really is.
Thank you. Oh man, I don't really have like an article about this or any like direct information. But it was nice to see that this week, Trump's lawyer in the E. Jean Carroll case, Tacopina, is representing him in that lawsuit as well. He really made an ass out of himself, and I think did not do Trump any favors by basically berating E. Jean Carroll on the stand, and basically saying that because she didn't scream, she wasn't raped.
Oh, God.
She basically very, very strongly while crying said, "I may not have screamed, but I was raped." And that shit does not do well with juries.
Yeah.
Like, I really think he might have fucked this case. The combination of the fact that Trump is no-showing, The fact that her testimony has been very powerful.
Yeah.
And then this incredibly just antagonistic cross-examination by Takapina.
Yeah.
I think
the headline I read said that. Oh, sorry,
no, go ahead.
It was like one of the hardest evidence things he had is that she once posted something favorable about The Apprentice on Facebook or whatever, and that was part of his defense.
Jesus. Wow. That's when you know you have no defense.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she once liked an episode of The Apprentice, so
yeah, therefore she's got to be lying.
Even, so.
Ay. That guy sucks shit, man.
Yeah, so you think there's a chance? Do you think some interesting shit's gonna go down there? Though?
I mean, this is the reason I think he's got a bigger shot of losing is because it's a civil case and not a criminal rape trial. So they're not, the burden of proof isn't quite the same in a civil trial.
Yeah.
That it is, in a criminal litigation.
Yeah.
So and I think the fact that this jury, I don't know, man. Hopefully, if it's some reasonable people, they're going to see right through the fact that there's there is no defense here, and there's.
Isn't he trying to get a mistrial declared in one of his other trials?
Oh, I'm sure he's trying to do a lot of shit. He's now
he's now every day that new
he's now trying to
get out of
sue
it.
Michael Cohen for $500 million for $500 million for defamation or for supposedly breaking attorney-client privilege.
Wow.
Which the crime fraud exception kind of negates that, and that's why he broke it when he had to plead guilty to the crime he did for you.
Yeah.
You dumb fuck.
Yeah.
Did I send you the link to my new favorite far right feud of Nick Fuentes versus Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh man, let me send you this link real quick, my friend, so we can pull it up. Because oh man, now I gotta find who sent it to me. That sucks. I just realized I don't remember who sent it.
You're like, oh wait a minute, let me scroll through my DMs. You're like, oh wait, dick pic.
You know what? I have never once in my life felt remotely confident enough to even attempt to take one picture of my dick.
I was talking about you receiving them.
Oh, yeah, no. I don't get a lot of dick pics either, surprisingly.
Oh.
Let's see. Boop, 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 boo. God damn it. Let them fight. I don't remember where it is now, but anyways, Nick Fuentes and Marjorie Taylor Greene are fighting, and that shit's really funny to me.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine the ridiculous things that are being said.
Just two stupid people being stupid at each other.
Two stupid people. They're going to fall in love, maybe, you think?
Oh, maybe that's what it is. It's just unrequited love.
Yeah.
She is single now.
Oh, that's right, because her husband's like, fuck this.
Her husband's like, I gotta get out of here.
This. Everyone hates me.
Have you heard the things she says out of her mouth?
Yeah.
I gotta get out of here.
He probably when she asked him to call, when she asked if she could call him Donald during sex, that's probably when he was like,
can I call you the Don?
I'm leaving you.
You're fired. Okay, this is going to sound weird, Nick, but when you come, can you say you're fired? Oh boy.
Did you say it? Oh.
Should we talk about old rum runner country, old McCurtain County?
Oh, yeah. Do you have some latest on that?
I don't have any latest, but we weren't recording when everything broke, so we didn't really get the. I don't think we got to cover it.
How many people have been removed? Because only one has been removed, right? Last I heard.
Yeah, but we didn't cover the story at all. I don't believe on the last episode.
Oh,
so
okay. It all broke after the last time we recorded.
Yeah, it was all within the last couple weeks. Yeah, I believe it happened right after we recorded the last episode. I'm trying to look back at our episode notes here. Yeah. So McCurtain County, if you're unfamiliar, that's Broken Bow and a few other places down in southern Oklahoma, which Broken Brow happens to be where our grow is. But
Broken Bow is a cool area. There's a lot of cool stuff in Broken Bow. This was was it Inola? Is that the actual, is that in McCurtain County? Goodness.
I can't remember. There's a few different places. Okay, so yeah, we recorded last on the 16th, and I believe this came out right after that.
Yeah.
So, new website launched by the McCurtain Gazette is shedding light on what led up to the newspapers reportedly allegedly recording threats and racist comments made by some McCurtain County leaders. So essentially, a journalist was doing their job while black.
Okay.
Right? And then a bunch of cops started talking about how they wished they could lynch him and his child.
I think they're white. We had one of the newspaper people a soundbite from him, and it was the guy who's a father and son, and I think they're white, but I might be wrong.
Okay. But I thought they were discussing. Yeah, they were talking about.
When they were talking about lynching, I think they were talking about someone else. Maybe is there another reporter who?
Oh, the way that I heard the recordings, it sounded to me like they were talking about
they
doing that to the reporters.
Yeah.
Either way, you have recordings of McCurtain County officials very much longing for the good old days when they could just beat up black people and hang them at will without repercussions.
Yeah. And even the governor Stitt announced earlier in April that he was calling on, here's their names for you, the former District 2 Commissioner Mark Jennings.
The only one that stepped down.
Yes, County Sheriff Kevin Clardy, Sheriff's Captain Alicia Manning, and Jail Administrator Larry Hendricks. Jennings resigned on April 19th, but no indications have been made since that any of the other officials. The sheriff has flat out said he is not stepping down.
Yeah,
so
he doesn't give a fuck.
They're trying to figure out what
Kevin
they can do
Clardy
to get rid of him.
is that guy's name, the sheriff.
Yeah.
And he seems like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. And just, to recap, here's a good recap. The calls for resignation are tied to a nearly 3.5-hour recording of those leaders allegedly discussing plans last month to beat, kill, and bury 2 of the paper's reporters. County leaders are also heard discussing hanging black people in that same recording. The FBI and the Attorney General's office are also investigating.
I see. So that's what it was. They were threatening the violence against the reporters.
They were threatening the reporters. But the rest, by the way, here's some other horrible shit.
Also, we're racist.
Yeah, because I think they even started talking. I heard a little bit of it, and they were talking about I've got some holes buried here.
They said I've already got a couple of holes.
Yeah, and somebody goes, took care of so-and-so.
Well, somebody goes, I've got an excavator, and he's like, no, these are pre-dug.
Yeah, it's scary ass shit. Yeah,
these are pre-dug.
Pre-dug, just graves waiting for bodies.
What the fuck?
It's small town Oklahoma. Not everywhere.
Hey man, hey bud. Hey, can I talk to you over here for a minute? Hey, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super fucked up.
So the McCurtain Gazette, you should go to their website. The newspaper didn't even have a website until they started getting national attention. Then they raised some money to launch a website. So they just launched a website
launched by McCurtain Gazette last week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's QR codes that can take you to the recordings.
That I thought was fucking genius.
Oh, yeah.
The fact
that their newspaper
that the paper just put a QR code that they could not.
Because that was before they had a website, and the QR code just took you to a fucking Google Doc or something.
Yeah.
I thought it was so just we need to get this information out there.
Yeah. And we got to make sure that it's something that they can't take down.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. I mean, this is the only way that this shit is ever going to change is when, when there is no way you can have these types of beliefs in public. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's so insane to me that there are elected, the fucking county commissioner, the county sheriff, the sheriff's captain, and the jail administrator. These are high-ranking people that are supposed to be doing good in their community, and they're openly talking about how they wish they could commit violence against reporters who are doing their job, and also against black people for existing.
They're not even, yeah. And the county people aren't even doing their job great, because the paper talks about a January 22nd issue that detailed the largest jailbreak in the county's history. And the first of the past 23 years, 4 inmates escaped from the county jail this year. So great job, Sheriff. Yeah, and then I love this one. An issue a month later in March discussed the sheriff.
Wait, let's briefly talk about the fact that the largest jailbreak in county history was 4 people.
Yeah.
They're like, look, we only got 35 people in here. If you can't keep fucking 4 of them from leaving at the same time.
4 left, and they lost.
God damn it, Clardy.
They lost like 30% of their jail population. Escaped that day. And like, this is like love. This sounds like a fucking sitcom, but it's like not, because it's scary, and these people want to kill reporters and
black people.
So an issue months later discussed Sheriff Clarity's taking a drug test during a public commissioners meeting after media outlets called for him to do so. The McCurtain Gazette reported Clarity passed the initial test, but refused to take a hair follicle test. Wow. Like, what the fuck? That's so weird. He's just like, I'll piss in a cup right here.
It's like, I'll piss because I know I'll piss clean because meth won't. I haven't smoked meth in a while, but that shit will show up on a follicle test.
Yeah, this story is like, man, it keeps going places. I just hope that everyone stays safe, because it sounds scary. And big ups to the journalist there.
Listen, the fact that our grow is there, I've not been there, but I've heard a story or two, and I don't want to go there.
Yeah,
I don't want to go there.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad there's other people in charge of shit down there. That means that I don't have to go there.
Yeah, we had a reporter go down there. Like, the day it broke, we had a reporter go down there. She did a great job reporting back from it. But
did she have like armed people with her?
She had a photog maybe with her. When she first went down there, she just went by herself. She's pretty badass. You should follow Erin Christie on Twitter. She's
hell yeah, Erin Christie is badass.
Yeah, so she went out there, and then but immediately, probably by the end of the day, like, no one would talk to her. Like, she couldn't get like officials to talk to her. Like, they were like talking to even like other reporters and stuff, but they wouldn't. Like, she had to get like information like about a press release or something from someone else, because they like weren't talking to her at all.
Don't talk to her. She ain't with Fox. She ain't with Fox News.
Yeah, so big ups to any journalist in Oklahoma who, because it's
doing their job.
Yeah, because like, as we've learned, like,
seems like it's pretty fucking dangerous.
Just covering your elected officials gets you death threats sometimes.
Jesus. From the elected officials, not from the scary base that elected them, but from them,
the actual officials that you're covering.
What the fuck?
For your county where you work and probably live. Yeah.
Like, journalists getting threats from just people that watched the news
viewers
has been happening forever and ever.
Like, yeah,
this is like a different level.
Yeah, this is the actual
this
people
is
that
the
you're
subject.
asked to cover. Like, viewers send horrible shit all the time, but you don't have to like go interview them as part of your job.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Zoe Zephyr.
Oh yeah, we got that one here.
Zoe Zephyr, I believe the first ever rep from Montana, state house rep, was barred for basically standing up against gender affirming bans and bills that are blatantly anti-trans.
Yeah.
And they proceeded to censor her and kick her out of the house and say that she cannot vote from the house, has to do everything remotely. And now she has taken steps to sue. Let's see here. That's a good place right here. The legal says, this is from the AP. It says the legal challenge against House Speaker Matt Riger and State House Sergeant-at-Arms Bradley Murfitt comes with just days left in the legislature's biennial session. A spokesperson for Montana Attorney General Austin Knudsen, a Republican whose office will defend the case, says the lawsuit was frivolous. This is performance litigation, political activism masquerading as a lawsuit, said Emily Flower, Knudsen's press secretary.
You get kicked out of your office, and they're like, this is grand. This is political theater. She can't even do her job because
they kicked her. Yeah, they kicked her out for saying for opposing a law. Yeah. That's what politicians are supposed to do.
Yeah.
I'm representing my constituents who believe that this law should not be a thing.
What happened to, like, she was fucking elected. Like, there are people, citizens who voted for her. Mm-hmm. So you're not just fucking over her, you're fucking over the people. Like,
same with the Justins.
If the people who voted her in are displeased, like, they will not vote her in. That's how fucking elections work, right?
Exactly.
We don't need other, like, fucking, just because you're mad that a trans person yelled at you.
It's just any excuse to basically overthrow the will of the people.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the Tennessee 3, with the two Justins.
Yeah, they want to take away voting so bad.
Absolutely, they do. Because they know they're the minority, and because their policies of us and only us are long behind them. You know, the majority of regular people are slowly but surely, you know, more and more of them are coming to the realization that it's, you know, it's either funnel everything up or finally fixed it so that it works for all of us.
Yeah.
And they, you know, that can't be the only options. We have to have more people working to make things work for the entirety of the people.
Yeah.
Which was what this country was supposedly founded on, was making it work for all of us.
That's one reason why I think the Glossop story, the case of Glossop on death row, is an interesting look at us right now, because, like, bipartisan support for, like, oh, the system screwed this guy over, right? Like, he did not get a fair trial. This up and down, this is screwed up, right? And you have people from both sides.
It's super rare when prosecutors will admit fault.
And DAs, exactly. Like, the current elected DA of our state is like,
this one was wrong.
This is wrong, yeah. But you have a governor who has a political career he cares about, who has this, like, tough guy crime thing. You know, like, I see a little hope in it, because at least some people are still, like, from the same party, see actually, like, when our system's broken and are, like, voicing, but, like, the system is so broken that, like, they still can't, even when there's, like, everyone is saying this guy's life should be spared.
Well, and it's just the fact that you now have people who are so in it for themselves that they really have no problems with. I feel like there's a lot of people who took the line in Goodfellas too seriously, where it's like, oh, you're broke, fuck you, pay me. Fuck you, pay. You know, Kevin Stitt's like, you know what? I don't care that that's what everybody wants. This is my job now. Fuck you, pay me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Trump's entire MO. Trump's entire MO is, I literally don't care about anything else except for the thing I'm aiming for. I don't care who it hurts. Like, I mean, the motherfucker will throw his children under the bus. He'll throw his wife under the bus.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before he starts throwing all these people under the bus, because the man is so truly self-centered.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I feel like Stitt's another version of that, like a baby version, like another, you know, he like, I literally don't care how many people tell me that this is unpopular. I'm doing it because it's the thing I want to do.
Yeah.
Give me my tax cuts.
Because it is.
Fuck you.
It's white supremacy too, right? It's like, oh yeah, well, we're not the majority, but we're white.
But I'm still in power.
Exactly, but we're still better.
Yep.
So we need to be running things.
Yeah, we may not be the majority anymore, but we still hold the power.
It's just a total white supremacy attitude. That's all it is.
It's just white flexing.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just like entitlement. Like, they get so mad at, like entitlement is a word that, like, I felt like conservatives love using for, like, people who get
They always find a way to flip the term.
No one's more like entitled than a white male Christian.
Exactly. They love taking the thing that they are and what they're doing and flipping it. And it's that constant thing of like whatever they're screaming loudest about is usually exactly what they're doing.
It makes me extra insane, right? Like I wish they would just be consistent with their fucking bullshit.
They can't because it's all like
it's just chaos.
They don't understand that they're always setting themselves up for hypocritical situations by just defaulting to whatever. It's not my thing, so fuck it.
I read many headlines, so I don't know this full story, but I think I read that the Pope is going to allow for some female voters at the next enclave or something. Like, I don't know if it's the enclave. Like, he's allowing some women leaders to vote in something that they didn't have before. So, like, it's just fascinating to me when you have, like, these religious leaders who are still pushing for, like, and I guarantee the Pope, I'm pretty sure, is anti-death penalty. Remember when, like, Christians were, like, anti-death penalty, and now...
Yeah, some of them. Yeah.
Anyway... But I forget where I was going with that because
the Pope finally letting women in.
Oh yeah, but like I guarantee, but you're gonna see.
Hopefully, those women will vote to shut the whole fucking thing down.
That'd be great.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you know what we should do?
We're voting to
close the fucking doors. Catholicism is closed.
Yeah.
Guys, sorry, church is closed. Catholicism's over. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah,
I'm for that. Having grown up Catholic.
I feel like it's going to lead to some weird shit, though. People are going to be like, the next pope, they're like, oh, no, women voted for this one. This one's not a real pope.
Oh, the second
and then we're going to have two popes.
Second he lets women in there, they're going to fucking get pissed.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, get this fucking guy out of here. He's too liberal. Can't have it.
It's maddening.
Yeah. They're like, we're just trying to be over here doing our crimes. And you're trying to like diversify. They're not going to want us to do our crimes.
There's so many big things to talk about. Like I'm like remembering stories like the bank that collapsed like overnight.
Another one.
It was the second largest banking American bank collapse.
And who comes in to save the day? J.P. Morgan. Yeah. Hooray!
How many times have they been bailed out?
Gee, they weren't. Yeah, they were one of the major ones,
the big ones
in the too big to fail bullshit. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable.
This country, it's like what? It's held up by fucking illusions, dude.
It really is.
It's so scary to see. It's like this. We're not well, and it's not getting any better. Have you seen the movie Beau is Afraid?
Not yet.
No, it just came out, but we saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil anything, but when you watch this movie, like I want you to like it takes place in like it doesn't tell you what year, right?
Right.
But it's a movie that's not like in a present reality.
Okay.
It's just like ultra violent. Like when he's like walking down the street, there's like extremely just like violent things are happening. I leaned over and I told my wife, I feel like this takes place in 2024. Like I feel like we're just a few months away from that shit, baby.
This is next year.
There was like on the news I don't know one thing on the news they featured. There's like someone who was called like the birthday stabber because he was like naked and he just walked around just like stabbing people and just like repeatedly stabbing people. And like shows video of him, he's all like naked and crazy. And just like
birthday suit.
Because his birthday suit. He's just like stabbing people.
So fucked up.
Yeah. So it's like, and he's like walking down the street and there's just like this violence everywhere. And it's like, oh yeah, this is where we're headed.
Yeah. My buddy Viet just shot a video for a local band Groucho. Have you heard of them? Shout out to my buddy Dustin Howard. You'll be able to hear him next week's OLA. Viet just was on this past week's OLA.
Nice.
But so Viet directed the video for a song called Blood in the Water. So check that video out on YouTube. And check out the long version with the intro. The intro is a sort of a visual representation of sort of attempting to navigate through the suck that is, today. And at one point he's walking through. It's kind of like a, like a slow one shot of the singer just walking through, walking through a cafe, and he walks past. God damn it! I'm trying to find our actual post here so I can find the actual headline. But yeah, so he walks by somebody reading a paper. So they made a fake paper, and it's the paper. Here it is. The paper is called "The End Times Economic Glance," and it there's one part that says, "You're a massive loser unless you're part of hustle culture," and then the headline says, "Shit sucks and getting worse," and then sub-headline, "Wealthy systems continue to infect policy and destroy the lives of working class, comma, voting a joke."
Voting a joke.
Great video and great fucking song, by the way.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely can throw that under music pick for this week.
Nice.
Check out local band Groucho on Spotify or wherever. Which great name too, Groucho.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It just feels like we're just navigating through a sea of shit. But again, that goes back to, is that just what we're being shown?
Oh, well, it's a mix of both. I think it goes back to what we were kind of highlighted at the beginning, where like the fear that I feel like there's fear that's manufactured, and I feel like there's fear that's
it's hard
legitimate.
Not to buy into some of it.
Like there's like legitimate fear. If you're a trans person in like any red state, you have legitimate fears.
Yeah, my child's terrified all the time.
Yeah, exactly. It's we're fearful people, and some of it with good reason, and then you have other people who are manipulating fear.
If this bill passes, someone that has never met us can file suit and file felony charges against us for giving our child gender affirming care.
Yeah.
I cannot stress that enough. Someone that has never met my fucking family can try and have charges filed against us.
That's what living in Oklahoma could be like.
This is our potential reality as soon as a month, potentially.
Yeah.
Depending on when Stitt decides, which way he's going to back down.
Which tantrum fight he's going to, Yeah.
Listen, I can only hope that we get this sort of almost stay of execution of him having to veto it, because he just said he'd veto everything until whatever, but that just means we have to wait till the House bill that's basically identical comes through and does the same fucking thing.
It's like, so they're going to, until, I don't know, like something federal, like what's going to stop it here, like immediately, like some federal laws, like we're not going to change the culture. Like
the only thing that's going to,
we don't have an election anytime soon.
There's only two things that are going to change it. It's either there's going to be a federal legislation that codifies trans rights in some way, shape, or form, and says that, like, some sort of a federal anti-discrimination legislation, or these laws get sent up to the Supreme Court, and we would hope that a rational Supreme Court would see them as they are, and yeah, exactly. But the idea of this Supreme Court in any way, shape, or form viewing anything with an unbiased lens, those days are fucking over. I mean, Justice Alito is a genuine piece of shit.
Just thinking about him, the only thing about the Supreme Court I heard was this week, and it was Alito saying he knows who the leaker was of the early information, and also
because it was him.
Yeah, well, he says his life was. He's like claiming his life was threatened, and he was like talking about all the assassination, of threats he got and whatnot because of this leaker. Like
whatever, you leaked it so that there would be super pressure on them.
Yeah,
to follow through.
Yeah, because they would know who, if someone ended up voting no, they would know
who
justice.
changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's exactly why he leaked it.
As soon as he had enough like votes. Yeah,
you'll never convince me it wasn't him.
Yeah.
You'll never convince me it wasn't Alito that fucking leaked that thing. That motherfucker. Look, and Clarence Thomas is as dirty as the day is long.
Yeah,
and we've seen nothing but more and more details of how incredibly corrupted he is. But I genuinely think Alito is worse.
Like morally?
Yeah, morally.
Yeah, absolutely. But they're both huge pieces of shit. It's hard to decide.
Like Clarence Thomas is trying to line his pockets and is a monster, but I think that his hatred is more of his wife's puppetry, and he's just kind of along for the ride trying to get his cash.
Yeah.
But I think Alito is a genuine monster.
Like
absolutely. He's really a bad person who just is full of hate.
Yeah.
There's just full of just nothing but hate and turds.
Yeah. Wants to just watch it burn.
Yeah.
Some man just want to watch the world burn.
Oh, God. I was really disappointed that Chief Justice Roberts didn't testify or didn't go talk to Congress.
Oh, about the...
Like, they invited him. They invited him to come and talk about creating some new ethical standards, and
he's like,
he said no thanks.
He's like, nah, then I wouldn't be able to do my crimes.
Yeah.
It's
not a good look. If he cares about the look of the court, none of this is fucking good.
It's come out that Gorsuch had fucking shady deals going on now.
Oh, yeah.
Like he had property that was bought by someone who had cases in front of the court. So basically, someone with a case coming in front of his court purchased something from him, thus giving him a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's just a coincidence and no way, shape, or form helped form his opinion on the case. I mean,
everything in every corner.
So that being the options, I mean, look, you could hope that there's a court under the Supreme Court that would vote these laws, that would shut these laws down,
like our own state Supreme Court.
And then it would somehow not be appealed to the Supreme Court. But I feel like that's also.
How's our own state Supreme Court? I haven't looked at their decisions much.
We should look into that and dip into it next week. Let's come back to that. That's actually a really good thought. It's one of those tough things where, we're in that situation where it's running away, moving away to somewhere where we're not going to be criminalized.
Yeah.
It feels like concession. It feels like
you have to literally uproot your life and leave your home. It
feels like I'm just throwing my hands up and saying, you win.
Yeah.
You win. I'll get out of here. And to be honest with you, we're just not ready to do that.
Yeah.
Like it or not,
have to do that.
Like it or not, this is our home.
Yeah.
And we have just as much of a right to live here free of fear.
Absolutely.
As anybody else. And the fear that they are peddling is what's the word I'm looking for? Imaginary.
Yeah.
Because guess what? My family, we're not coming for you.
Yeah.
We don't give a fuck what you do.
Yeah.
I don't care. Listen to Kenny Chesney. Don't bother me none. What you do in your home.
Yeah.
Put on them shit kickers. I don't care. Do what you do. But let us live. That's all we want to do.
Yeah.
Just fucking exist.
Yeah. Which they hate. They don't even like existing. I just don't understand. Like I just cannot imagine, again, like parents whose kids come to them and tell them they're trans, and I don't get how you immediately are like, no, you're not, or whatever they say.
Oh,
I can't even imagine it, because I just cannot imagine you're not believing your kid with something like that.
It's real. It's
and then it goes far beyond that.
When you're a parent, when you're a parent who actually talks to and listens to your children,
it
is impossible to imagine the parents who don't. But there are so many more out there than we realize.
Oh, no, I know.
It's just maddening.
But that's what's scary to me, because if these people who are like if you can't see your your own child that way, there's no hope for anyone.
You shouldn't have had kids.
Yeah.
But
they're not going to see your kid, you know what I mean? Like if they can't see their own kid as a person,
no.
There's no.
If they are willing to lose their own kid to a mass shooting because they don't want to not have their toy, they're not going to give a fuck about my kids, and your kids. But they're going to talk about how much they love kids and how they need to protect children.
Yeah, just don't sexualize
from
them.
drag queens. but not guns.
You can kill them with guns, but just don't sexualize them.
Don't you fucking dare let a man in a dress read him a book.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Anyway, that's it for this week. Did you have an album pick for this week? How's your playlist coming? It's pretty much done, right? It's complete.
I completed that shit like minutes before arriving to the studio today.
Oh, man.
I need to update the cover art. I want to make a little fancy cover art for it.
Fair.
But like it is done. I've did some fine tuning and I've released it. So
what was the final edition?
Well, I kind of went like chronologically, And I started, so I had this whole system. I just kept coming through it. But anyway, the last few tweaks I made were towards the end. And I think the last thing I made, I changed my 2022 song, one of my 2022 songs. And I added this song called Magazine by a band. I don't know how to pronounce their name, and I'm too embarrassed to say it out loud.
Can I try it?
Yeah, well, it is. There we go. That one.
Okay.
Is it
Toro y Moi?
Yeah, that sounds right, and that's how I usually pronounce it. But I'm also afraid of like butchering.
Sure.
Name,
That's that. I believe that's Spanish for Toro is bull.
Yeah.
And Moi is. Let's look for translation. Bull. Oh, okay. So it is a mix. It says here that bull, Toro is bull, and then in Spanish, but then the last word is French for moi.
Oh yeah.
So
moi.
it is. Okay. So it's Toro y moi.
Okay, there we go.
So it's bull and
fuck
bull
it
and
up,
me.
Sammy.
Hey, we both. You know what?
Oh, the bull.
That's
bull
how we learn.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
That's how we learn.
Yeah, we don't just assume. We look it up.
It's
yeah,
right.
You're right.
Yeah.
Good
So
lesson,
Toro y moi.
Yeah, but that wasn't going to be my album, Zampino. But that was
That's
the
okay.
last thing I picked.
That was me being curious as to what ended the
Yeah, no, that was
the
it. But it
playlist.
wasn't anything fascinating. I just like I ended in a song that was like too aggressive, like it didn't fit the vibe. The last few songs
mellow
kinda
it out a little
chill.
bit.
And one of my 22 songs was like too extra. So this Toro y Moi. It's a fucking chill as fuck. If you don't know them,
Sweet. Okay.
look them up. They're great. But the album I want to talk about, I heard this week that Killer Mike's going to be working on a solo album.
Yes.
So it reminded me of rap music.
Rap music is so
the last solo album I had out before Run the Jewels kind of blew up. And that's just like
that Reagan track.
that's exactly what I was going to talk about. Because it was on my playlist for a bit and I ended up moving it off.
So
but like
good.
Reagan, it's like a fucking history lesson, dude. Like
Yeah.
and what was fun about doing this playlist again is listening to old music and like listening to KRS-One and like Boogie Down Productions and like the fucking history lessons. Like,
Yeah.
and even in the 90s, like I remember like before the internet, dude, and before like 24-hour cable, like in Oklahoma, the only stuff like I learned about the like race riots in LA, like the Rodney King, all that stuff I learned from music. I learned from rap music, like it was journalism.
Yes.
For like a white kid in Oklahoma, like I can't relate to like what people are going through in LA with the police, but like hearing it in music, I fucking related. And I love music like that. I love music that music can be whatever it wants, but like, yeah, Reagan. And that whole album is full of some just fucking bangers. And LP produced it, who of course they would go on to like work together.
To do all the Run the Jewels.
Yeah, so like it's like the whole Run the Jewels vibe, but it's kind of like a little preamble to Run the Jewels maybe. But it's great if you haven't heard it. Killer Mike's rap music. Definitely listen to Reagan, but the whole damn thing is great.
The new single that dropped from the upcoming album is really good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they dropped one single on.
Oh, nice.
From
Look it up.
And yeah, LP's all over this too. Yeah, of course.
Cool. Yeah. Good collaborators.
I just heard. My album pick. So I actually now have two because I was getting my hair cut today.
Oh, nice.
And I heard this song and I was like, God damn, this song sounds so old school. And I found myself really digging it. And I found out that it was Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak.
Oh, fuck yeah.
The Silk Sonic.
Silk Sonic, yeah.
Yeah, An Evening with Silk Sonic.
Yeah.
And
great vibe.
It is a great vibe, and it reminded me of how much I enjoy that old like R&B soul style.
Absolutely.
Like the one from like the 70s.
Fuck yeah.
That vibe, that feeling, that groove, I fucking dig it. I love it.
Hell yes.
And it was making me super happy.
Yeah, that's a great
But I've
one.
also my pick before I got my haircut this afternoon. And I talked about this on this week's OLA as well. As I keep going back to the self-titled Mars Volta album that came out last year.
Yeah.
So this is the album that they put out after years of not putting anything out, and it's quite a departure from the old style of Mars Volta, while still very much sounding like the same band.
Cool.
But it's a much more mellowed out vibe of Mars Volta.
Yeah.
It still has a ton of like the Latin flavor that they always put in their shit that I fucking love. I love Latin drum grooves so goddamn much. Like, they really like. Anytime I like see them incorporated in other shit, I super dig it.
Did you ever listen to Sepultura?
A little bit, but I didn't really get into Sepultura.
In high school, that was like, my friends loved that fucking band.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. I never was that into metal, but they would like play me like, you got to listen to Sepultura. And I remember like the percussion from it and it sounding like a little bit.
Yeah. No, I get that. There's a couple of songs on the new Turnstile album that have that very like that very Latin groove of the drums. I love that shit. But yeah, no, that Mars Volta album, self-titled from 2022, it's really good all the way through. But yeah, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Hell yeah.
Goodbye. Maximum News is a production of OLA Ministries. All original music written, performed, and recorded by Kintz.